Good day, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world. The wooden model ship HMS Bounty rear mast sails are on. Of course, we finished the forward mast. All the ropes are done on that one. We got a head start on the rear mast this week. And spent a lot of time the last couple days getting these rear mast sails sewed up to the yard arm. And then we hung them in place and started dropping lines. Of course, we try to redo or pre-do all these rigging lines on the bench over there before we mount the sail on the mast. And then it's just a matter of terminating all these different lines down in the deck area. So we got most of the ones done on the starboard side. I got this one rear mast lower sail. Yard arm doesn't have a sail. It's not part of the kit. So we got some rigging to do on the yard arm to make it permanent. But we got the arm hung on the mast. I still got to do the lifting ropes and then these stabilizers. But the other two sails on the rear mast are almost done. We got several down here to do. This is one of our stabilizer ropes from the very top sail. And then these two are rigging ropes for furling the top sail on the port side. So we got to terminate those on a baling pin. But this one stiffener rope for the yard arm up there on the top sail needs to be, I got to tie a double block pulley on here and then run that double block pulley through another double block pulley down below on the deck, and then terminate that onto a baling pin. And then we got we got two on that side. One of them's already hanging next to the baling pin, but I had trouble getting the rope to stay on the baling pin, so I still got to work on that. The problem I was having was when I would pull tension on it up above, it was furling the sail while I was trying to tie it off on the baling pin. So I put a little dab of glue on the block where that rope was wanting to pull through to furl the sail, and then I'm letting that dry before I go back to terminating those last two on that side. So right now I got to do a double block. Uh-oh, phone call. So what I want to do is put a mark on this line where I want to tie that block at. That's close to where the other block is there. I got the block ready. I had to pre-drill these with a 0.8 millimeter drill bit, because my tan rope that I'm using is sort of a light gray color. It's really giving me a fit trying to feed it through these blocks. So even after putting the super glue on the end, I was fighting that thing. So I just went ahead and drilled out the block, make it easier to get it in there. So I'm going to pull this knot close to tight where that black mark is. Try to get 1 cinch on there in the right position. Sort of around there is good enough. I'm cutting that excess off because it's too hard to tie a knot when you got a mile of excess sticking out. Then I'm going to do another one on top of that. Try to lock that in. Pull it where I want the rope to hang. Then put a little dab of glue on that knot. Make sure that's not going to come apart. Now we're ready to cut some of this gray thread and get some glue on it. Once we get the end of it ready, we'll take the other end and we'll tie it off on this rack. Then we'll go down through one of these blocks down here. Last time when I did this on the other side, I was using my gripping tweezers to hold that block while I was feeding wire through there. Being an electrician, I'm always saying wire. So let me get that gray thread ready. And then we'll try to get it through, because we got to go tie off through the bottom one, through the top one, through the bottom one again, through the top one again, and then put a baling pin in there and tie it off. And it'll look like this when it's done. And everything's in the way, so it's fun, fun, fun. But good news is, even though we're still fighting ropes, is all the sails are mounted. Woohoo! So we're getting to the point next week we'll be putting detail on this thing and starting to populate all the things inside the ship where the cutaway view is. Got a couple lanterns to mount in the back. I'm going to put the flag on there. A whole bunch of little details to do. But the hard part of rigging will be done for the most part. I'm going to probably do is I know there's a few places that's missing rigging ropes. And as I go along doing the detail, I'm going to be adding more ropes just to fill in the spots that are missing. See, there's these holes in the side of the ship here. On the other side, I got one that's already populated. There's one here that's populated. Another one in the front. But those are for rigging lines that are probably part of the sail control that I missed. And I'll use the drawing here to figure out where I missed them at. And you can see this one thing here with the pulley inside of it. It's got lines on it going to the bottom of that sail, so we'll have to, because that line would tie off to that pulley that's up in here. This is all furled up, so we'll have to simulate getting that rope in there from this block and wherever it ties off at, probably on the big cleat there. Yep, it goes on the cleat right above the block. So that's an example of stuff that I'm gonna try to add that I've missed, because there's gonna be a few of those things that we've missed in the process of putting each one of these sails on. There's always something you miss. So let me get my gray thread going here and I'll pop back in. Can you see that? I don't know if I can get any closer. I need to use one of them cameras that's inside a cell phone, little dinky tiny pan-shaped thing. And I could just stick it up there with a piece of bubble gum. So I got tied off through the bottom block up to the block that had the pin in it, and take that pin out. And now trying to fish this through the bottom block again. Get where I can see the hole. And the block is moving. Still moving. There we go. Okay. This is my tie-off rope. I gotta cut that. Now, I want to straighten out this block because it's twisted. As I put pressure on it, rolls back straight. So I'm looking like I got to go in the back side there. So let's see here. Get a grip on this in the right spot. Now I got to try to turn that. So I can get in that hole there. Yes. Get some tension on that. And then I want to feed that down on the inside of the baling pin rack. And grab it. Like that. So I'm a little lower than I wanted to be, but it's good enough. Cut that tail off. Grab a baling pin. And with this one done, we just got some baling pins to do on the outer edge here. Won't be near as hard. So we got one wrap around the pin. I want to trap that rope so it can't move. Keep that tension on it. Make a loop. And turn the loop upside down onto the pin. And pull the slack out. And there's glue on that pin from when I just stuck it in the hole, but not enough on the knot. And then let that dry. So that was a hard one because it's up there in that rat nest. There's two more to do in there, but they're part of lifting ropes I haven't run yet. So now we want to do these two here on this baling pin rack out here on the port side rail. So we get another baling pin. Get a dab of glue on it. Don't get that glue everywhere. Stick that baby down in there. Now I'm picking one of these ropes. From this top sail on the rear mast, the mizzen mast. And before I bought that new model, watching the advertisements for the new model, Artesian Latina, they have some tools that they were promoting, primarily for rigging and for shaping boards. I'm going to pre-feed that through this area here. Anyway, I took a little strip of stainless steel I had in the toolbox. I used to use this for reaching down inside of stuff and picking something up or scooting it around, but I modified this end with the little groove cut in it, and we can check in the position of this rope here. It's on the wrong side of the shroud, so I got to pull it out, feed it back in here. I don't want it wrapping around the wrong side of the shroud. So with this groove on there, see how I can get a hold of that rope, go up under the baling pin rack and hook it onto the bottom of the baling pin without using tweezers. Wow. Anyway, the new model, I bought a set of these tools, and of course when the model came in last week, I did a little box opening and showed the tools, but I haven't broke open the package yet to try the new tools. This is a homemade one that you can make that will do the same thing. So I've got that hooked around the bottom of the baling pin and pulled up through the top of the rack, and now I'm checking the tension on that line to see if it's too much or too little, and adjusting if I need to. I want to try to get one wrap around that baling pin like that, and now we got to go for the loop. So I want to hold that tail before I let go of it, make a loop. Hold it there. Make a loop. Get that loop to lay in the right format. And then try to turn that loop upside down. Oops. Over that baling pin. If you watch the video for the new model on Artesia Latina's website, you can see show you using those tools. And it's really amazing. So I'm looking forward to the next model using them tools. So much easier than this old way we were doing it before we made this new tool. Yep, don't cut that until you get some glue on there. So that's one of the rigging lines from that top sail. This one right here for the corner. Now we got this one here to do, which is for the side of the sail. And you can see I put little super glue on that where it goes in to the block so it doesn't move on me when I go to tugging on it down there on the deck, trying to get it on that baling pin. And I did the same thing over here, but this one didn't stick. So I might put some glue on that one again, because these two I haven't done yet either. And then that'll be it for the top sail. The middle sail is all done. I did that yesterday before I started sewing up this top sail. Got it all done. We just got a couple, 3 ropes to do on this top sail, and then we got lifting ropes to do on both of them. And that'll fill up the last of the pulleys down there. Woohoo! Okay, now we're working on some details. Got this lantern drilled out at 2 millimeters to match the thickness of this brass rod here. We got a 2 millimeter hole drilled in there. Nice and snug. And then using the vise and 2 pairs of pliers, we made this stiffener bracket to fit on that 2 millimeters. And we want to get an idea by scratching that surface there where the hole needs to be. And now we got a 1 millimeter drill bit. Get through there. Now, got one side of this is longer than the other, and that's for the thickness of the wall of the ship here, and to be able to push it in and out in order to line up these pinholes on this stiffening bracket. So we get that out where we think it's going to line up. Get that started in the hole. And we got to line up all these two, and then push the big one in. Until I'm feeling that the two top ones are in too. Which it looks like it is. And this sit down on there like that. We get a nice gob of glue here. That's what we want to do. See how I put a little glue around the pins there. And the first one I want to put around is a fairly good dab. And I'm going to put it around the big shaft where it comes through the ship there. And then a little dab on the bottom and the side of these smaller pins. Today we're gonna do the pellet grill and cook some ham. Wrong side. Oh no. We broke it. Voila. So there's the two lanterns on the rear of the ship. Now we got to do the safety chains for this rudder. And I just put the Bounty letters down here on a little earlier. And we got to get our gold paint out and start touching up. This has got to be gold. There's a few other spots that we want to paint. But we're on to the details. And that takes care of this detail. A couple months ago we assembled these things and had them ready to go. All I had to do today was cut the wires and make the brackets to hold it. They came out pretty good. So next week we're going to be working on populating all the goodies inside here, and I think we're going to work on some lighting too. I got a lot of crates to make up and pallets. I think I'm going to do some hammocks. Stuff that wasn't on the plans, but I got a lot of pieces that we need to assemble and paint. So there's a bunch of drums there. So we want to paint those up. And I know there's some blocks left over. The actual little blocks of wood, not a pulley block, that we want to try to cover with some cloth or something. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm going to make some kind of crates. So we'll have drums and crates that we'll try to populate in here. And then we'll do some hammocks and all kind of other things we can think of, trying to get creative and get this thing filled up, and try to do some lighting in there too. And once I get the lighting done, I think I'm gonna look at painting these ribs depending on what the lighting does. If I should paint them black to help the light show up what's inside better, or white. I don't know what I'm going to do there yet. And we'll have to experiment with that. But we did get a lot of the detail rigging done. There's probably some more I can do. I just need to look at it harder. But I got those on both sides. And this one, I think I'm going to add one here to this sail. Might add one over here too, because there's another hole there for that. But we got most of the hard ones done. All the sails on. So down to the nitty-gritty details now. Well, thanks for watching.